In the course of this chapter, I somewhat sidestepped a number of issues. So, in order not to miss anything, in this chapter I would like to address a number of outstanding points regarding Climate Crisis 101. First, does posting this material online make the class redundant? It's useful to pause and reflect on why we give university credit for such coursework. Credit is not given for simply showing up for class. Instead, students are graded on how well they have understood and mastered the material. Even if someone were to explore all of this material online, the instructor, that's me, would be in no position to evaluate what they have learned. Such evaluation is essential for accreditation. This is not to say that someone studying this material could not master it well enough to receive an A in the actual course. Indeed, the goal of posting everything online is to offer such a person everything necessary to attain that level of proficiency. It's also the case that the course subject matter here matters, because if this were a course on something like computer language, having university accreditation would likely be of significant value in seeking a job. However, understanding the climate crisis is arguably different. True, having accrued 4 credits for this course could play a role in obtaining an undergraduate degree, but the reason that someone would take this particular course is presumably because they want to learn more about what will likely be the most significant issue of this century, and one that will have a profound impact on their lives. In this sense, whether you receive credit for taking this course is, as far as I am concerned, given the urgency and severity of the climate crisis, far less important than learning about this issue. This is also a moral issue for me. Anyone who is interested should have access to this material. Again, it might be different if the subject at hand were something like Renaissance poetry, but it seems to me that there is a moral imperative to make this material open to the public. Given that the fossil fuel interests are working hard at spreading disinformation about the climate crisis, everyone needs to have unrestricted access to reliable information on this crisis. Another question, is this a MOOC? Although it might be possible to convert the approach explored here into some sort of graded MOOC, and a MOOC is a massive open online course. It's by no means the objective, and certainly not at all necessary in implementing the approach here. Moreover, making it into some sort of paid course, and in the process restricting access to this material, strongly goes against the spirit of this approach. At the risk of repeating myself, as everyone on the planet is experiencing the climate crisis, everyone should have complete access to credible material relating to it. And this is a living document, unlike a book, a printed book. This page is regularly being updated and expanded. Why? Because the climate crisis is unfolding at a bewildering rate. Consequently, this page and its content will change along with the crisis. Moreover, students often come to me with questions that suggest new material that I should add to the page. As a living document, this page is somewhat like an academic preprint. However, with the understanding that a print version will not likely be forthcoming. I welcome input from my students and colleagues, as well as the public, in improving it. If you would like to cite from this page, you should note the date of the reference. Alternately, you could archive and reference a copy of this page from the day that you are citing it by way of the Internet Archive, also known as the Wayback Machine, and then reference that URL. A note for teachers. The material on this website may be of particular interest to educators, as the course videos and podcasts may in fact be useful in flipping a classroom. As noted above regarding this being a discussion-based approach, this course is designed around a flipped classroom. A note on the syllabus for people not taking the UCSB course. If you're not enrolled in the course, you still might find the syllabus of interest. as it structures what may otherwise be a confusing array of online material. Although it is possible to randomly watch the course YouTube videos, the syllabus not only it provides a systematic way of approaching them, it also offers links to additional course material, such as the primary readings, which are all available free of cost online. In addition, it should be possible to watch all of the course YouTube videos directly from this page, even if YouTube is not available in your country. So another question is, why does this page look the way that it does? First, see the above sections on accessibility. It's also time for a confession. I love getting lost in a good book, lost in a sea of words, just words on a blank page. As I am a scholar of the written word, this probably comes as little surprise. Of course, there's nothing wrong with, feeling the same way about a page rich in images, like a graphic novel. But I personally find the look of words alone against the stark backdrop familiar and inviting. In her wonderful book, Thinking Without Type, Julia Lupton observed that typography is what language looks like. In addition to considering what written language is doing, which is what I do for a living, I'm fascinated and mesmerized might be a better word by how it looks. The fact that I'm dyslexic may play a role here. Well, this fascination began decades ago when I was a child who read far too many books and continued into adulthood as I collected far too many of them. I have grown to enjoy the look and nuance of digital text even more. Perhaps not surprisingly, I find long scrolls of crisp Helvetica text pleasing. Apologies in advance if you don't like this look, as I realize that it flies in the face of a good deal of contemporary web design, and the fact that pictures can indeed, add interest to a page. Hence, you may find it just plain boring. Still, since I have no desire to monetize this site with ads or promote anything here, I hope that you enjoy the luxury of this minimalist approach.